Welcome to Tuesday night. It is time to talk music on the Tuesday night show with Brian Red, Jay Brannon, and myself, John Young.
Yes.
Tonight, guys, I want to dig into the music side of it, of money music, with songs and the type of music or a genre of music or a decade of music that basically is going to be money on your dance floor. What I mean by that is not only will people dance to it, people will be excited about those. And it will lead to people saying, wow, that Jay Brannon, he's a pretty cool guy. I got to recommend him to other people.
Yes.
Over the years.
Not Cardi B money moves.
No.
Well, unless Jay's got to dance to it. If he's got to dance to it,
not yet.
That could be pretty might lead.
Yeah, weird and poppy.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, does he do the chesty thing, or is it all in the hips? I don't know.
I haven't tried that one yet.
No,
Don't give him any ideas.
I'm this.
There you go.
That's all I am. I got the George Michael, wake me up before you go. That's my move.
Yeah, that works for you, kind of.
Not as much as I'd like to think.
Not so much. Temecula is not ready for those kind of dancers.
They're just not on the cutting edge.
Yeah, I get that.
You got to give it to George Michael, though, who's a British guy who can actually dance.
Yeah.
I mean, think of another one. What, Rick Astley? Get out of here. Come on.
No, he can't dance.
He has no dance.
No.
Mick Jagger, he's got moves, but I wouldn't call it dancing.
No, I wouldn't call it dancing.
So he's the best dancer to come out of the UK ever, I think.
There's a good case to be made for that. You could be right. And
it's a very random thing, but
he's
very random.
He's in I consider one of the better songwriters of the 80s as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he's way up there in the songwriting department.
So British people don't hate. I'm giving you George Michael. He's yours. I still say Mick Jagger's ours, but he used to be yours. You gave him up.
Yeah. You turned your back.
Sticking a flag at him and colonizing this man.
Turn your back. That's what we do. You guys left us off on this land, and you turn your back, and what happened?
It's payback for trying to appropriate Northern soul music.
Yes.
We call it not. It's American music that you're now claiming as your own.
It's Motown.
The same with Mick Jagger.
Yeah. It's Motown.
Sorry, John. You want to talk about music?
Yeah, let's talk music. Do the thing. So when we first started, there were different types of genres of music or decades of music that would really be something that would set our dance floor on fire, or people would get excited about, and it was something that they weren't hearing or experiencing all the time. Mm-hmm. As we get into next year, the next couple of years, when it comes to weddings or private events, it's going to be different than it was a period of time ago, whether that's 5 years, 10 years. Where do you think this is going for next year?
Should we let Jay just do 15 minutes while we sit back and...
I was just going to say, you have solitaire loaded there, Brian, don't you? We could play.
Yeah. I'll make it short and sweet, because I, much like, my fellow DJs on the panel tonight, you think age, and the sweet spot is that high school time. So my last wedding, the bride was 28, and she was very into, so she was born in 82 or 92. She was very into early 2000s, but 90s too, which kind of surprised me. And I think part of that, I was born in the 60s. I'm not a huge fan of the 50s music as much as I am of more 70s. So with me, it was coming of age with a radio. Now with internet, everything at your fingertips, I think music changes too quick now. You can't really say, oh, if you're 30, you're going to be into this. Because I'm sure we've all done birthday parties for a 40 or a 50-year-old and been like, I know exactly what to play. And it's changing with people sub 30. That said, I found myself, and I talked to my good friend Pulse the other night about this, at the wedding last week, I literally started having flashbacks of weddings I was doing 2002 to 2005, where I was literally playing certain songs in the same patterns and mixes, and people were responding the same way. Because it seems like the early 2000s, we were playing a lot of newer music, because things got popular very quickly. The Usher stuff, Yin Yang Twins, that kind of, Outcast, the dancier stuff. And I think we're genuinely going to start seeing, as DJs, if you've been around for a while, you're going to start seeing that you're doing the same sets again. So I think it's going to be that mid to late 90s to mid 2000s again. And by mid 2000, 2005-ish, and then still some of the new stuff today. So that's what I firmly believe next year I'll be playing, because all my clients are in that late 20, early 30 period, and that seems to be a real sweet spot for them.
I think what John meant was, what can we play?
No, that's kind of the angle, of what he did.
Okay.
And there's ways that we can go to actually.
I'm like, again, I missed the question completely. He goes, "What color was it?" And I'm like, when you travel to,
I like soft things and and puppies,
Yeah.
and kitties, and
this feels like velvet.
wow.
No, the impression I got, what I was envisioning with the question was, let's say that you're DJing for that 28-year-old client.
Right.
The decision maker who paid for everything, maybe it's dad. And maybe dad is closer to our age. What can we do to really impress that guy so he says, oh my gosh, he played that cool song that I really love. I want to hire him for my next kid's wedding that's coming up here in probably the next few years.
Right.
That's how I interpreted what John just.
And I was going to go that direction. If we didn't get there, that was going to be the second part of it. We're going to hit both aspects of it: the playing for the in this case the couple and where their sweet spot might be, and for the people who are that. So
well, I think it's, as I've said to you.
Wait a second. This isn't your turn. Brian's talking.
Oh,
hush.
sorry.
Okay, go ahead, Brian.
No, it's okay. Let him talk.
I just wanted to give a tail end answer of answering both questions, but that's okay.
Anyone, Bueller.
No, it's the same thing that it's always been about playing old and new music. Old music to me becomes the older people at the event. New music becomes the client. So if the client wants mid 2000s, you have to figure out a way to mix, something from 2003 with something from 1979 or something from 1985. And I've kind of prided myself on always doing that, so no one ever feels they're left out of the dance floor. I know a lot of DJs that'll play 5 Latin tracks in a row. I'd rather play one, Celia Cruz, Carnival of Life, into Staying Alive, and then go into something else, and then do Mi Gente, and then go into Usher, and then do Despacito, and keep them kind of bouncing back and forth. Because at least in Southern California, if you do too many songs in a set, you start to lose parts of the crowd.
Sure.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I think it's the same everywhere.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So let's there's a few different directions I want to go here. One of which is talking about, we talked about the 28-year-old bride now, and then there's the parents and aunts and uncles and that part of the family, which generally are the parents of other couples that are in that. We'll get into that one, but let's jump into one of the things that over the years we've talked about this, Brian, is movies have a big influence on music. And a couple of years ago, when the Guardians of the Galaxy were really hot, that was really shaping some of the music we were playing at our events, because people were, digging that type of a world.
Right.
We haven't had any movies this year. We haven't had many events this year. Most people haven't been to a wedding in 2020. How is that going to affect musical taste going into next year, do you think?
Well, I think a lot of people have been watching Netflix the whole time they've been sitting at home doing nothing. I know I have. Now, granted, I only did 3 weddings this summer, but I spent a lot of time watching Netflix and a lot of time watching Amazon Prime and every other, streaming service I could get my hands on. HBO Max, goes on and on. I was catching up on Mr. Robot. I don't know if you ever watched that show. If you haven't, it's fantastic. It's one of the smartest shows that I've seen in a long time. Now, once it gets into series, the 3rd season and the 4th season, it's whatever. But the 1st season, it'll scramble your brain. It's like Matrix smart. I love it. Anyway, that's my endorsement on that one. I will do a little spoiler here. Now, okay, by the way, they're doing cool music through this whole series. Like stuff that I've had to look up. Like Alabama Shakes and stuff. Like really cool hip stuff. What was the other one? The folks who did I Monster from oh boy, what was that? Shaun of the Dead, that dun 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 dun. I forget the name of the group, but they had a song in there. So it's this really weird kind of cool, bizarre tracks that they play. So you almost watch it to see what they're, I do anyway, what's next. And in the final episode, they played Mr. Roboto by Styx. And, that's a song that you can play that people recognize from what Futurama, The Simpsons, so many different shows, like a Volkswagen commercial had it.
Mm-hmm.
And what's so cool about, we talked about the client, right? The younger person or the younger couple wants to hear primarily new music, and you do play it in, like Jay said, you trickle it in. You don't do these epic sets of hip hop from 2018 to present day. What you do is you play a couple and then you jump onto something else. So with those money songs, the ones that people remember, sometimes the stuff for the parents and for the kids, because of these movies, because of this big, I guess, resurgence of 80s music almost with young people. I know my kids love 80s music. They're almost mutually exclusive. Like, you can do the same songs and please both groups. And that's cool. But I think to do it, you need to find things that you're not going to hear every day, or things that you may recognize in that blip. Like, I don't know, if you saw the end of Mr. Robot, if you saw the last episode, you heard that song. If you saw Guardians of the Galaxy, you heard that song. I don't think that because Hollywood got turned upside down on its head this year that it's really that bad of a thing. I was even hearing cool songs in what the hell was it? I was surprised too. One of the Walking Dead series was playing some like songs I recognized. Like it's like, usually it's like what I call movie music. It's just kind of canned stuff.
Yeah.
Like Michael W. Smith, kind of like that. but they were actually playing hits. And I think
Trying to reach the knife.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. I got it.
You know what I mean? It's not like this obscure thing.
You mean fantastic music that impresarios like myself would enjoy.
That you could get licensed, very reasonably, because it's just out there. It's almost like free music you could put behind your YouTube video. It's like hit songs they had actually paid for. There's a budget for it, and it's kind of cool.
Right.
That you're hearing those things. So paying attention to that kind of weird stuff, I think, is fun. But yeah, I mean, really, what have people been doing? They've been catching up on movies and catching up on TV shows. A lot of people have, and paying attention to what's in the series and what types of, I don't know, weird stuff that maybe it's here, but it's not here, Like, we've heard it recently, we like it, and then you play it. The Oh Yeah songs. They've always been my favorite.
I had that this year with that Don't Stop Me Now by Queen. I ended up playing it. It's the last song of the night at 3 different weddings.
Yeah.
And I was like, in 25 years, I've never seen people freak out like that. And I'm like, wow. I love learning new things like that. I think the problem with the movies and TV shows is they've heard them, but they haven't had the secondary. They haven't been in the car to hear it.
They haven't had
they haven't been out. Yeah, they haven't. So it's going to take a little bit of time. One thing I have to interrupt real quick. I did this on my the Happy Hour show last week. One of my podcasts I listen to is called Talking Sopranos, and it's Steve Shrippa and Michael Imperioli, and they had the director of music last episode. Led Zeppelin, for the first time, gave the rights to a song, rock and roll, to the Sopranos. This is the way the pay goes. You pay for the publishing, which is the writer, and then the master, which is the recording. You pay a fee, you double it then for DVD release, and then you add 27% in perpetuity for other things. They paid $100,000 for Led Zeppelin for about a 12, 13-second blip of a song.
Probably a good deal.
My point is, people like Michael Smith, who probably would take $50, $100 on a track. That's kind of where when you tell me about shows and you're like, you got to check out the soundtrack. I love when people go deep diving on music and they find some old track from Thievery Incorporated and go like, hey, can we buy this for 10 grand to play on The Walking Dead versus trying to get the big hits.
Right.
You can't afford them. You can't, you're talking 6 figures to get songs. They said the average song for HBO's budget, the average song was $15,000 to $50,000 per song per episode. Right. And they would use upwards of 12 songs. AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, I mean, big stuff.
Yeah. Remember Steely Dan's Dirty Work was in there.
It was. Now,
Yeah.
the question is, you only did 3 events this year. Did you play Dreams by Fleetwood Mac at any of them? Because I played it at everything from July forward after that guy on the skateboard. We also haven't had a lot of those moments this year either.
You know, it's sad because I've had to. I did anyway, and this goes way back. I stopped playing Fleetwood Mac at events in the early '90s, and the reason I did, if you can remember back to the early '90s, "Don't Stop" by Fleetwood Mac was a political thing.
Yes.
Big political.
For the Clinton campaign. Now, it's a good song.
And you're a Republican, so that would bother you all day.
all day long. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
yeah, you know me.
Yeah. Before we go
Say
live,
things like that.
Yeah.
It's, by the way, very not true. Very not true.
That would be a touche for the Michael Smith comment, my friend.
Well, that would be really bad. You know, I'm trying to stay so neutral, like publicly, and here you go doing that. I gotta like, no.
He's not. He's a conservative. He's not.
I'm not talking about your career in porn. Don't be talking about my political affiliation.
Hey,
Come on now.
$20 is $20. I needed the ride.
exactly. And sometimes the lights are flattering. So hey,
I don't remember what I was even saying, but what I had in my mind that I wanted to say, like way back, when
Fleetwood
you
Mac
first-
that you wouldn't play it.
Oh, right. Yeah. So I haven't played it since then. I probably should start again, but at the time it just felt like the wrong thing to do. But what I wanted to say, going back to when you started your rant or your banter, whatever you were doing there, do you know why Don't Stop Me Now is so popular?
I would think the movie.
No.
Oh,
It's popular because, and it has been for a long time, this isn't anything new, but people are catching up on movies. There's a big scene in the film Shaun of the Dead with that song.
okay.
Like
I
a
didn't know
huge
that.
scene with that.
Okay.
So it's been big since 2003, but
Wow.
I haven't really played it.
No,
But that's why people know the song, because it's one of those movies people watch over and over again. It's a
but
comedy.
it's also a theater song. Like,
Oh,
when
it's very
people
theatrical.
Dance. It's very like it's the theater geek song, and that's who these weddings were. This were weddings where the bride at one of my weddings plays Minnie Mouse at Disneyland, and the other one, the bride is the queen at Medieval Manor, and the groom was one of the knights, and the other groom was one of the. I mean, like they were theater kind of geeky, and when I gave it to me, I was like, yeah, I'll do this as your first to last. We'll end slow. And then I'm like, I'm going to end on this. And it was great. I mean, it really, really was.
Yeah.
But,
It's
by the way,
a cool
Fleetwood
song.
Mac, they're one of those groups like the Eagles. Yeah, there's a lot of great songs by the Eagles. If you look at my Serato for the last year, outside of the driveway, let's say out of 10 weddings, I played 0 Eagles. I played 0 Fleetwood Mac till Dreams came up. The only time I dip into those wells is like the acoustic Hotel California or Landslide for a father-daughter dance, things like that.
sure.
Yeah.
It's so funny. People think we play big groups, a lot of their music. I love Aerosmith. I never play Aerosmith.
Don't Want to Miss a Thing is a big one.
Yeah.
I get the country brides out here that want the Mark Chestnut version that John probably has played a few times.
Yes.
I actually have done the Vitamin String version of that song too.
I have that as well. I'll do that for prelude stuff. Yeah, all the time. John, your take on the different music and what we can expect from next year and looking forward.
When we had this discussion, probably
Okay, that's good. So anyway, Brian, what's gonna? Oh, sorry.
wow. I got to say
How'd all these people get in my room?
Yeah, what's up with this? Can you guys please turn it down? You're just making too much noise.
You're such a woman. Stop it.
But
Go ahead,
we
John.
talked about this a couple of years ago where we were talking 90s music was really coming on, and NJ, you had kind of alluded to that earlier. And I think that the 90s, I think, is going to come to a real screeching halt, and it's going to be, as you were seeing, is that early 2000s. Now, the part that's interesting is that watching some of the music from the early 2000s that's being used in commercials right now, you're seeing more and more of those songs on stations that are targeting 40 to 60-year-olds. You're seeing some of that going on, and it's like, products that are they're using some of that type of music and that type of a feel of kind of almost more that kind of an urban or slightly hip hop type of a song.
Yeah.
That's making me think that 2000 to 2008, 9, somewhere in there, that's gonna, those upbeat songs from that genre or that era may be really might be what we're targeting next year.
Here's the question, John. Which ones haven't we already played to death? Or we aren't currently playing to death? Because we're all still doing Usher's Yeah.
Well,
And 50 Cent in the Club, you know?
the one that was kind
Yeah,
of
but ODB Got Your Money has just been redone for some TV commercial, and they changed the lyrics.
it's a laundry one.
Yeah, I Got Your Laundry or something.
I've been playing that song for years, and that's been kind of the wow song, but now it's lexicon stuff.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
But to me, that's still in there with like, still a player, and this is how we do it. And there are tracks that you don't play at every event, but you may have on deck. Usher, Yeah, is a song to me that it's not an event if you don't play it.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, because it just crosses so many different people that like it. It's not scary. It's not too old. It's not too new. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those tracks. I think you're going to have to deep dive. I played Lean Back this year. I haven't played Terror Squad Lean Back in years, but it was one of those songs that got requested. And I'm sure you guys are like me, you're looking at your computer going, hey, you know what would go well with this? And next thing you know is you're going down that rabbit hole of, Make It Rain, Lean Backs, Not a Player, things like that. And
What do you got, John? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think that era, it's going to be interesting to walk that line of going too deep into things that worked for the junior high audience at that time. Terror Squad was one of them. That aren't going to make that transition. And I think because we didn't have weddings really this year, people not going to weddings, is we haven't been able to, we're going to jump into something that pop culture is put those bugs in their ears for that type of music, whatever that type of music is.
Right.
And we haven't been able to kind of work in with them to know what's going to work. And we're going to jump into some outdoor May and June weddings and having to learn it on the fly of what's going to be the new stuff that works. But it's going to be the old reliables, as Jay was talking about. But I think that finding those hidden gems could be a little bit trickier in some ways because people just haven't had some of the common experiences in 2020.
Well, I think we're going to be all right. I think about going back. It sounded like Canadian there for a minute. About.
Yeah, you kind of did, dude. You're near the border, sort of.
Yeah.
Not even close. John's a lot closer than I am, and he's not even close.
That's much.
I'm talking in spirit, Brian, not in actual location.
In weather.
In weather, yeah.
I'm thinking about what was happening in the 60s, where it got kind of heavy. There was a lot going on. You had the Vietnam War, you had a lot of civil unrest, and then the music was kind of reflective of that, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like happy music. I mean, you got a Monkees track here and there, but otherwise it was a little heady stuff, And then you kind of got into, I guess, as soon as Vietnam was over and things chilled out a little bit, what happened? People were ready to have fun, and that's when disco hit. So if history repeats itself, and if I'm not talking out of my butt here, I'm thinking our music's been a little heavy for a while. I mean, there hasn't been a lot of fun stuff going on for a long time. It's been weird out there, and there's been a lot of stress from everybody's experienced some degree of stress. But I was thinking today, the vaccine's on the way, right? It's coming. They're talking about it. So there's light at the end of the tunnel now. And when this is over, people are going to be ready to have fun. And when it's time to have fun, there's no reason to do anything other than just enjoy. You don't have to worry about if the song is silly or not. Play the silly song. I'm thinking the more fun, the better. The more festive, the better.
So you're going back to what Howie did that night in the chill room. You're saying, if I'm hearing you correctly, that you're going to start putting Kool and the Gang Celebration back on rotation because people are going to be ready to come out and have a great time and want those happy, upbeat songs.
I think so.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think something like that, maybe, you pick your own song, but I think we're going to be able to introduce stuff that's just fun. I think it's going to be like, I'm talking about, and I've been talking about this for probably 6 months. When this is over, and I still vow to do this, I am going to have a disco party in Milwaukee. I'm going to pick a venue. I'm going to set up. I'm going to tell people where it's going to be. And whoever shows up, shows up. And I'm going to let you know ahead of time. So
Who's going to
anybody wants to fly in town? Fly in town.
I'll fly
We're
in.
having
You're
a
going to
disco
spin?
party. I'm spinning.
I'll fly. Oh, I'll fly in for that.
Spinning the party.
I'll fly in.
It's going to be disco, maybe some freestyle. Just
There'll be a
happy
bar,
music.
right?
Yeah.
There'll be a bar. Okay, good.
It'll be a bar. It'll be when the weather breaks. I'm
it's only
thinking we're
serving
probably
coffee.
looking at like mid-March, early, maybe April. I think we're going to be okay. And when we are, people are just going to want to enjoy themselves.
Yeah, they want to
You know
party.
what? Yeah, enough is enough. We've all gone through hell with this.
Yeah.
We've swallowed our pride. We've had to make so many personal compromises in our lives, and we're still doing it when there's finally light at the end of the tunnel and we can relax a little bit. Take a deep breath. There's work now. We can go outside. We can hug our grandmothers. Yeah, it's happy
you're right.
time. It is happy time all day
It's going to be.
long.
I think it's going to be a lot of Pharrell happy starting dance floors again that I used to start with because I agree with what you and Howie and everyone in the chill room did that night about making a song list of this is, and Howie said this is the stuff I play for nurses, for doctors.
Right.
When I wanted
Uplifting
an event to be uplifting,
Right.
and we came up with like 150 songs that we all kind of categorized as
a list,
these are fun sing-along style, upbeat, have a good time. And I also think that the sing-along stuff will probably come back. You'll probably get more of people becoming, as you said, Brian, because we've all been so apart. Now that we're together again, my buddy Bill in Boston, 9:00 at every wedding on a Saturday, whatever he's playing, he hits the brakes and comes right in on beat with it's 9:00
Piano
on a
Man,
Saturday
yeah.
with Piano Man. And he's like 100% of the time, they flip out, they jump, they love it, they dance, they scream. I think that's going to come back more than before. Because now, even though I've had 9 events, 10 events, people are partying and dancing, but there's still that apprehension. And I'm looking forward to when that's gone.
I think it's going to be gone. Now, what I want to just touch on here, if you don't mind, John,
Yeah,
is
no,
the
good.
concept of up-tempo and down-tempo tracks. And when I think of like down-tempo tracks, a really generic example of that would be, and Quincy Jones says it's a down-tempo track, so we're going to go with that because Q is one of my favorite people. Rock With You, Michael Jackson. It's down-tempo. It's on a minor key. It's cool, but it's not a big banger dance song, right?
Right.
I mean, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough is an up-tempo track. I think most hip-hop is down-tempo. Most current hip-hop is down-tempo. But there are a few that have the right beat that you could consider an energetic party song. And when we're talking about flashback stuff, I think things like DMX Party Up are going to work really well. Going to make me lose my mind up in here, going to act the fool up in
Fits
here.
the age group and everything.
Yeah.
It fits the age group. So it doesn't have to be particularly these inspirational lyrical songs, but just happy, let's have fun. I mean, I'm thinking back to what I was talking about earlier. When you're talking about the 60s and what was going on there, stop, hey, what's that sound? And then a few years later, we were everybody dance, clap your hands, clap your hands. I mean, that happened. And that was real. And I think that's where we're going. I think that's where we need to go. It's just happy stuff and relatively up-tempo stuff.
Yeah.
Sing along, fine, whatever. It doesn't matter. But I don't think that there's going to be this big pushback from a younger crowd saying, hey, this is old stuff. No, they're into it.
Yeah.
I
agree. Do you think there'll be a new style coming in? Do you think we'll see that resurgence of not disco particularly, but when this ends, do you think bands will come out and purposely throw us these good, fun, uplifting tracks as well? So we'll have new things to play that will fit. Because I'll be honest, I look at the new Billboard, and at least for this year, I may have played one song off Billboard's top 20.
It's gotten a
the
little
rest of it's
better.
depressing.
It's gotten a little better. I really like the Weeknd's track. I like that one a lot.
Blinding Lights is a great song.
Blinding Lights.
That was about it. But
there was
the people
that.
that
There
are
was the
hitting-
Harry Styles stuff that I thought was okay. It could have been
the
better. but it
Watermelon
wasn't
track
bad.
is good. Yeah.
You know,
Megan
so
Thee Stallion,
so it wasn't all doom and gloom. There was some stuff. So, but do I see something else happening around the bend? Yeah, because I think things have been played out, and I think it's time for a fresh start. And when I think about anything that I've listened to. What was I listening to the other day?
Prince?
No, it was a brand new song. I've got it on my Facebook page. The girl looks like Sofia Coppola, and it's a brand new video. And in the video, she's driving a rented '65 Mustang convertible, which is why I posted
How did
it.
you find that song, Brian? What did you just per chance? Like
Yeah,
you
just
weren't
per
like
chance.
sitting like religiously searching who's driving my car?
So, but one thing I noticed about it was, her voice wasn't bad, but it was auto-tuned. And I'm thinking to myself, Cher Believe was auto-tuned, and that was 1998.
That was a good song though. Yeah, but that was a fun
22
song.
years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
It's almost like, Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately, music? You haven't changed much. Not really. Fundamentally, it's all still kind of the same stuff. So, maybe this new generation coming up is going to say, you know what? Something different would be good. I've noticed weird things. Like, people who are into hip hop are starting to really take notice in guitar. Like guitar riffs. They're hearing them in songs and go, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. How do they do that? I need to get a guitar. And bass riffs. A lot of it's watching these reaction videos, but they're very popular. They've got so many views, and they're really genuinely interested in how these sounds are made. And some of them are even commenting, talking about Fleetwood Mac. Somebody said the other day, one of the reactors, who's quite popular, he was listening to, I think it was Gypsy. And he said, I've listened to like 5 Fleetwood Mac songs. I just discovered them a few months ago. And what's amazing about Fleetwood Mac is that there's no way for me to really tell when these songs were made. These could be brand new songs. And if you didn't tell me
That's
that
a great
they were
observation.
from the 70s and the 80s, I wouldn't have known different because they don't sound dated,
I get that.
And so there's like an interest in old music. There's an interest in performance. There's an interest in songwriting, and there's an interest in musicianship again that maybe someday, maybe not next year, but maybe soon, we may see a new generation come out and say, hey, you know what? Let's do a band. Yeah, we could rap, but you got a guitar? I got a drum kit. Let's
That'd be
do
fun.
something.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that
Be like
neat?
when Beastie Boys did that. That was good stuff. I
Yeah, it
loved
was.
that period.
It was.
It was great.
It was.
But I hope we go. I hope we go back to that. I hope we go back to people being, I'm going to create music, not I'm going to go into a studio and have someone just go like this, and then I'll say bad words over it for 4 minutes, and
I
then
think
it's a
played
hit.
out.
It's
been
totally
done.
played out.
It's been done, and the music business isn't what it used to be, so that doesn't help matters.
No,
But when you just love music, and I think there's a love for music, especially this discovery of the older music. There's a generation out there right now that isn't aware of Fleetwood Mac. That's weird. This kid,
that's
and I
so
say
weird.
kid, he was in his 20s. He's like, who are these people? It's
Yeah.
amazing. I heard someone else say, it was a girl who was watching this stuff. I think they reacted to Dreams. And they had been watching Fleetwood Mac videos. And she said, it's weird because I started checking Fleetwood Mac out a couple of months ago, and now they're everywhere. I hear them everywhere. When I go to the store, I hear them.
Yeah.
When I hear a car driving past, I hear them, or a motorcycle. I never noticed before, but since I've sat down and taken notice, now that's Fleetwood Mac. So I don't know. I've got hope for the future. I really do. I've got hope for the new generation. I think things are going to change because it's really been the same old thing for so long. And if anybody ever accuses somebody my age of being, as John would say, crotchety about new music, please understand something. I'm not offended by your music. I'm not shocked by your music. I'm bored by your music.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
The stuff that I was listening to 15 years ago even, and that, I wasn't a kid, was pretty cool progressive stuff. And I'm not hearing it now. And that's a shame because I'm hearing the same old thing over and over again.
Go look at Billboard now, the top 10, top 20, and play each song and start finding the key and progression similarities. Then go back 20 or 30 or 40 years and look at the top 20. And it's like, wait, these songs have nothing to do with each other. Nothing at all. Because it's like you say, it's a different music business. So now charting is based on streaming and YouTube and everything else. So you have an advantage. If you have a big enough fan base, you're suddenly number one. You haven't done anything. You haven't sold anything. You haven't Like Post Malone, as talented as he might be, has like 4 songs in the top 20 for most of this year.
Yeah.
And
Here's
they're all
something interesting, though. Here's something interesting. Now, can all John? Are you familiar with "Blinding Lights" by Weekend?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, can all three of us agree that's a song?
yes,
Yeah. I would.
good song.
Now, when did that song come out?
March, February.
It's been on
Came
the
out a
charts
year ago.
A year ago, yeah.
Did it really?
It's fifth. This is it's number 7 this week, and it has been 51 weeks on the charts.
Wow,
Isn't that crazy?
that's crazy.
So what
I didn't
does
even
that
realize
tell
that.
you? A good song has staying power right now.
Oh yeah.
So that should be encouraging. That alone should be encouraging.
Yeah.
Now I have to just add real quick. Of 5 weddings over the summer, 5 of them, when it came down to cocktail dinner time, 5 of the 5, when I said, well, you can go with a decade, a genre, do you want to do jazz? You know, well, what do you recommend? I said, well, classic. Oh, yes. And like, I've never played more classic rock than this summer in 5 weddings. And I'm talking Pink Floyd, Aerosmith, Queen, Jimi Hendrix, CCR, like, and I'm like, really? And just like you said about Guardians of the Galaxy, my wedding a few weeks ago, at the end of her request list, she goes, think about, and it's a movie with Denzel Washington. I think he plays a football coach. Does that ring a bell? I don't, maybe somebody in the chat will know. I can't remember or know what it was, but she literally requested the entire soundtrack from the movie. And I didn't know the movie. So I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Then I look up the movie and I realize every one of her songs for dinner was off the soundtrack.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. So I wonder if that's not a new approach too for clients to say, we love Guardians of the Galaxy. Because I did have my June 21st wedding. She played the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack was her dinner playlist.
Yeah.
Verbatim, in order.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay, no problem.
Remember the Titans is what Rob.
That's it. That's it. Thank you. Who jumped
Rob.
in on that.
Rob Meadows.
John.
Oh, Rob, thank you very much. Yeah,
Rob.
remember the Titans. And literally all the music for her dinner was the soundtrack from that. So I'm almost happy to see people thinking outside of the old, oh, just, play some background jazz. Just play this. Like they're thinking ahead to, oh, we love this movie. And this music makes sense for my parents and for me. Because I'm sure in your zones too, Brian's like, yeah, mom and dads are our age. I'm having moms and dads come up that are not my age, that are a little younger. And it's weird.
Yes.
Yeah, that's weird.
And then I get ones that are a little older and I feel a little better. But it's weird when the dad starts talking about, yeah, maybe next year when I turn 50, we'll call you. And I'm like, okay, I'll be 57 then, but that's okay. Like I can still, I know what 50-year-olds listen to. Of course I do. But that's a new reality too for a lot of DJs. I think very young DJs have a difficult time understanding this concept because they're very programmed to just play music. They don't get as deep about it. And that's not a put down or a slam about a young DJ. They don't have the vocabulary. It's when I first hired DJs in the 90s, I got this. Oh, you know what you should probably play is, try Unchained Melody. Is that the song from Ghost? That was the big thing in the 90s because Ghost was big. Unchained Melody blew up again.
Well, it was 88.
It was a 60s hit. And people were like, oh, like the song from Ghost.
Yeah.
And that was the way,
Yeah. And the Contours Do You Love Me was from Dirty Dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was, really for my generation, it was from Ghost. And, Do You Love Me was from Dirty Dancing for my generation.
Right. Exactly. It was your exposure to it.
Well, it was what.
Well, look at mine.
Back.
American Graffiti was my exposure to Bill Haley.
Right.
That Happy Days. I didn't know that was a song from, 20 years ago.
Sure. It's all perspective.
It's totally all perspective. And I think people take that and kind of run with it. I'm hoping now that while people have been home, they've been deep diving music. I hope they've been watching the videos you've been watching and gone like, who is Jimi Hendrix? Because I know a lot of people did Van Halen when he passed away. I saw a ton of like reactionary Van Halen videos.
Oh, yeah.
And, it started right after he died that the weddings I finished the season off with, they all got a Van Halen song, whether it was Jump, or something else.
Sure.
So I'm hoping people take this time to learn more music and challenge their DJs. Bring something to the table of, don't just play what I heard at the last wedding. And we can influence that. We can say to them, I can play what I play at every wedding and every DJ will play. Or do you want a great wedding? And I'll surprise them with 60s and 70s for cocktail and 80s and 90s for dinner. And then we'll just have a blowout dance party. And they're going to say yes because they trust us as the experts.
I think, I don't know. I don't even know what I was going to say. I don't know, Jay. I had something in my head and I thought, ooh, he's going to stop. And then you didn't. And then I was trying to listen to what you had to say. And I've got brain damage, so I have an excuse.
It's not you, Brian. I worked for 35 years with the CIA. My entire career there was just simply to walk into the room, talk to spies from other labels, from other countries, and literally get them to the point where they were just admitting to things without even knowing it.
Confused. I had something good to say, but I don't remember what it was. It doesn't matter.
It's my power, Brian. It's not your brain.
It doesn't matter.
His superpower.
Well, you were talking about the new music thing. That's what it was. Or just discovering music.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to give my channel a plug or anything, but
You have a YouTube channel?
I guess.
Really? Oh.
So I've done a few videos on the records behind me where I've been trying to choose a genre and you have to kind of talk about music in the abstract on YouTube like we're doing now. We can't really play the songs, but we can talk about it. And so I'm thinking, okay, if I have a visual, here's the record, I can talk about this song. So I've been doing those videos and it's been interesting. I did one on 80s alternative music where I was talking 80s alternative club, where I was talking about songs that were being played on those college nights, where it wasn't like MC Hammer and Rob Ace, it was Ministry and Duran Duran. Yeah, Depeche Mode, New Order, Susie and the Banshees, The Cure, all that stuff.
Great music.
I did one on disco. That was okay, but the one that really blew up, and Jay, you're going to laugh at me for this one, because you always give me a hard time about this. The one that
Michael Smith tribute. Yep.
Yeah, that was a big one. I saw the numbers.
My Christian contemporary video
was just huge.
Exploded.
Striper,
I'm all
baby,
about that kind of music. My freestyle video. Went nuts. And it's so fun because I've told people, it's like, look, guys like Jay Brennan look at me like I'm the freestyle guy.
You are.
It's
not. You, Scott Carroll, and Jimmy DePalma. I'm sorry.
I'm not.
Like George Lamond doesn't know enough about freestyle compared to the three of you. Like, seriously. Expose calls you. Don't lie. Expose calls and goes, hey, Brian, we're thinking of doing a new album. It's not time. And he hangs up. Come on. Don't lie to me. Like the freestyle freaking
day and night DJs. BSR, thanks for those throwback videos. Great to remind us of things we forgot about and not charging us $85 for your ideas. Dude, that is thank you for saying that. And
Brian, do you have sound effects you could be selling now?
I'll leave it alone. I'll just leave it alone.
No,
but thank you for watching. It feeds my family when you do, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But no, that's the point of the videos though. I wanted to show some songs. Like, hey, remember this record? Maybe there's a visual cue that may give you the, oh yeah, I do remember that. And play it again, because there's some great songs out there we just don't play.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But we all know, and our audiences know. And with the freestyle stuff, if you're playing for Latino crowds, are you kidding me? They know this stuff. They know it.
But see, that's a great service to know that you've now got, we all know there's services now that are like, hey, this is the best crate or folder of music you can have for dinner, cocktail, whatever. I instead think it should be, hey, you know what? Let's be blunt. If you get a cool Latin crowd, this would be a great set. If you get this would be a great set. If you get guys in their 50s, this would be a great set. And do it more for the reality of love of music and not, and we can hang on to Usher, for just so long.
Right.
And we have forever.
There's all this stuff out there that we aren't doing because, quite frankly, we forgot about it. I mean, for so long.
Yeah.
100%.
John knows this. I mean, for so many years, it was about what's next. And you could play a great song You could play a fantastic. I don't know. I'm just going to go back and say you played a good 50 Cent song, and
Right.
people will be like, "Yeah, but the new one's this," and they didn't dismiss it because they want the new.
Yeah,
song.
there was that period. I
But
remember that.
that went on for my whole life up until maybe 5 or 6 years ago, where it was like, you know what? Let's just play the good songs. Let's not worry about what is new and what is, what's the newest release. Bruno Mars was like that. I remember everybody was Uptown Funk, and then it was like, no, play 24K Magic. And then we did that for a minute, and it was like, not going back and play Uptown Funk.
But remember how that was on Facebook? That was a big thing. It was like I had to get the 24 Karat Magic video from promo only because they didn't even have the track yet.
I remember
They had the video.
for that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, wait, what's this song that every DJ on my feed is talking about? We don't normally hit like we can name them all because we don't normally play this just dropped and we have to play it.
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake, Can't Fight the Feeling. Everyone, I'm playing this Saturday. And I'm listening to qualified DJs. I'm like, dude, if that guy's playing it this Saturday, I need to be playing it this Saturday. We don't normally go through that transition. I guarantee, Brian, you're an amazing DJ. John, you're an amazing DJ. Everyone in the chat room, I bet you would struggle right now if I said, name the number one song in the nation according to Billboard Top Hot 100
No, I have no idea.
today. Yeah, no, I can't either.
Put a gun to my head, just pull the trigger
Because we don't live in that era anymore where it's like,
right.
I know what it is. It's the Police. Every breath you take, because it's been number one for like 3
I used to know this stuff.
And I
John
love
used
this.
to know it.
I did too.
Yeah.
But you know why I don't know now? Because it doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
Mhm.
It
If it's
doesn't
WAP,
matter.
I still don't own WAP. If you want to hire me, you're not going to get WAP at your wedding. If that's a determining factor, don't hire me. Like literally, it's gotten to that point. I never thought music would be the determining factor of, will you do this? No, I don't want to play it. Because the people in the back of the room who really count on top of you, because here's the deal. You and I have said the same thing. The wedding is yours till the end of the meal. Then it's for your family and friends. If you don't want it to be the music they want, don't invite them.
Yeah, you're not.
No,
invited
that's a
to
Brian comment.
Yeah, you're not invited because I don't like your taste in music, so you can just stay home.
But I agree with Brian on that. Like, why would you have guests at a wedding and then tell the DJ only play Prince and Cardi B because that's what we love? Yeah, but your grandparents are here, your parents, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins. Maybe they want to hear normal music or other music.
I have to have this conversation so often with certain clients that really enjoy a certain type of music. And the one that I think is probably the easiest to understand is if the client's into like metal. you
Yeah.
know. Well, we want Slayer and we want
Vitamin Stripes.
right. No,
Yeah.
but they genuinely want this like stuff. Like the most poppiest thing they want is like the old Evanston stuff. And it's like, okay, how's your grandma feel about that? Well, she doesn't like it. It's like, okay, so what are the other 148 people going to do at this event? Just sit and watch you guys jump around to Evanston's?
Yeah.
And like,
Back to Life won't do it.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, well, how about we do some weird stuff for cocktail? And
Dinner.
Hey,
Let's
that's a
do
good
piano
idea.
tribute to Slayer. It's all on piano.
yeah, we get. Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Grandma will love
There you
it.
go. There you
Everyone's
go.
happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. That's what we do for a living. Hey, you can have Slayer and Megadeth. I had a bride walk down the aisle to Crazy Bitch by Buck Cherry.
Yeah.
But she did it on strings.
I had a bride.
Vitamin strings.
I had a bride and groom get carried in caskets.
I can't top that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to one up you because that really did happen.
No, I believe it. Yeah, I can't top that then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My only close would be the bride and groom that came into the reception to Guns N' Roses. I used to love her, but I had to kill her, and now she's buried in my backyard. That was their grand entrance song. And I got a picture from the bride at 3 a.m, passed out on the front sidewalk of the hotel that someone took. And under the email caption from the photo, she wrote, "Thanks again. You were amazing. We had a great time."
That's
Like,
the couple
okay.
that's going to just be married forever too. That's the weird part about it.
Yeah, guarantee it.
Yeah,
I'll
forever.
never leave. No one else will put up with them.
Nobody else put up with either one.
Yeah, exactly.
They're in it forever. Yeah.
They're made for each other.
Yeah. The ones that had it perfect and it was beautiful and it was Michael W. Smith, they're divorced already.
Yeah, no, that's not going to last. No. You bring God into a wedding, that's your first mistake right there. And he's a Republican right there. There goes Brian. Oh, Brian got quiet, didn't he?
Yeah.
God-fearing Republicans. That's the group you don't want to get to Brian.
Stop it.
Especially Wisconsin. That's Wisconsin thing.
And Milwaukee.
As I call it, Canada South.
Canada South. Canada warm.
Well, gentlemen, we're going to wrap up here. We hit our 50 minutes.
What?
The chill room link is out and about. It's circulating through the chat. You guys can jump in there in just a few minutes. That's kind of the area to go and hang out and talk more shop throughout the evening tonight.
You only get me for a few minutes because I got to go pick up my son-in-law in a little bit. So I'll pop in for a minute.
Yeah, we'll pop up.
We'll
jump
I'll
out.
be in there for a bit. Brian, how long before we do a show with John, where it's literally just a cutout of John and a recording of John saying, "Okay, guys, let's talk music," and then the next recording is, "Okay, guys, we've hit our 55 minutes." Chill room addresses, and you and I call each other like, "Was it me or did John seem a little quiet tonight?"
He looked a little stiff, cardboardy.
He's been a cardboard cutout for 8 weeks. What are you talking about? Seriously?
The dead
I thought I
giveaway
saw
will
him
be it'll be that picture, from 2005 that he uses for everything else. It's like he looks so young.
He looks like
Wait a minute.
yeah.
Wait
He's
a
looking
minute.
good. He's looking
And by the way, thank you to everyone, Andy Powell and everyone else, when I put up my Twitch thing the other night, who said, like, "Is that you in the photo?" I'm like, "Yeah, that was only a few." Oh my God, that photo's from like 2003.
I saw
okay,
that.
maybe I should
saw that.
upgrade it.
Yeah. That's
I don't have anything that's upgraded from what all my events I didn't do this year. Come on.
Right.
Plus, how many photos do you really have of you? You have the one in the vest. How old is that one?
6.
Yeah, because we don't take photos of ourselves.
precisely.
I got pictures posed by the Mustang from a couple months ago.
It looked good.
I've
That
seen you
looked
driving
good.
the Mustang, and yeah,
those look good.
you should just put up a picture of the Mustang. Just to
My
make
photographer is going to do new
identity.
headshots next week, by the way.
Is that your daughter? Because she does good photos.
No, Amy, who did the last ones in Illinois. I'm gonna go down there.
Okay, yeah.
She
no,
reached out
did
to me last night and said, "I owe you headshots. I'll let you come next week." So I'm going to go down there and get new
good for
headshots.
you. No, she
I
did.
got to get
really
my
good.
hair done and stuff, and because I'm on like COVID self haircut number 12 right now.
I was gonna say, remember you did the first one and you thought that would be it.
I just kept going.
You're like, this is all I'm gonna do because this thing will be over next week.
I can't stand this anymore.
Holy God, I'm still doing it.
Yeah,
I know you got the whole DJ
it's getting a little.
Ashba thing
It's
going.
a little long in the back, but the sides are cut.
Yeah, that's
Well,
all.
I have
if we had hairstylists out here, I'd get a cut, but
Yeah, you don't have those.
I don't think they're open.
John wants to go do John things. We're keeping.
Yeah, John's got a book.
Well, it's like midnight where John lives.
It is almost that. So thank you guys for being with us tonight. Chill room is open. Links in the description below, or the chat room. You can go grab that and have yourself a wonderful evening and have a great
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Good night, everybody.